Right. Yeah. So, no, you expressed an interest in get learning a little bit more about me. So I thought I'll tell you a little bit about what I've been up to since I was born. So I was born in London. I am a Londoner. I was not a Cockney though. I wasn't born within earshot of the Bow Bells. I'm a North Londoner. I was born in the Whittington Hospital, not a million miles from the CAF actually. I could have been born at the Royal Free, I suppose, but I don't know. I don't know if there was a Royal Free when I was born. I think it was still a building site. So it's probably best I was born at the Whittington. Much older hospital, the Whittington's been around for a very long time. I think it was originally a hospital of tropical medicine before becoming an all-round hospital where you can have babies and things. And yeah, I was brought. So my mum, she worked in the market, just round the corner from Finsbury Park. And my dad, he was a very political man. Got kicked out of the Labour Party in the 80s for being a bit too political. He joined a succession of smaller parties. Never really got on with them. He had very strong views, and I don't think he always saw eye to eye with the other people in the smaller parties. They didn't always agree with everything he said. If I'm honest, I didn't always agree with everything he said myself. I always thought of myself as more of an anarcho-syndicalist, whereas he was very set in his ways. He worked for the post office for many years, and I think it gives you a very rigid way of thinking. Whereas I was in a band, so bit freer on the old thought front there. I didn't grow up near the Whittington. I grew up in Muswell Hill, which you probably heard of. It's the home of the Kinks. It's where the Kinks are from. It also features in the Madness song I Like Driving in My Car, with the line, I bought it in Muswell Hill from a bloke from Brazil. Which is funny, because I bought my car from a bloke from Brazil, although I wasn't in Muswell Hill at the time. I was in Fry and Barnet, which is just the other side of the North Circular from Muswell Hill. But anyway, bit of a coincidence there. Yeah, and then after school, because it was a bit of a long period of time where I didn't do a lot, apart from dribble, I guess, and drink milk. And as I progressed, obviously I played with rattles and built things out of bricks. But I mean, there's not a lot to talk about really there until school, and even then I was mainly finger painting until they started teaching me to read. And then you do that, don't you? You do the reading and learning numbers and geography and history and doing PE letters. I mean, it's we've all been there, haven't we? We all went to school. There's nothing particularly special about it. I went to a school, and then as I got a bit older, I decided I wanted to be in a band. So I joined a band. Me and some friends from Muswell Hill. We fancied ourselves the next Kinks, and we started Black Clouds, which we were moderately successful. Steele's probably told you about the band. We had a few singles out that did moderately well, a couple of albums that sold a few copies. We were with a sort of middle of the road management company, and then we had one bit of success really with a little tour of England and a single that did quite well actually. It was used on an advert in the 90s. And then I've got to admit I let it all get a bit too much for me, and I got a bit out of control, and the band split up, and then sort of pretty much immediately got back together. Well, there was 5 of us in the band, and we split up, and then the other 4 fellas they got back together again as a different band. and I had to do a bit of soul searching and decided that music wasn't really for me. So I started working in the cafe in Camden. The guy who ran it at the time, Melvin, he was he was a funny fella. He wasn't so worried about the quality of the food. He was really about just filling up your plate. But not nice fella. But he passed away in the late 90s of Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, and I sort of took over after that. I stopped selling beef for a little while, because, in memory of him, really. Didn't think it was right. And then after an appreciable length of time had passed, I started selling beef again. I think it's pretty safe these days. So that's it really, and I've been running the cafe ever since. We've had a succession of chefs and waiters and cuisines, and the rest is history really. I do still dabble in music. After I turned one of the back rooms into a studio, so we can, you can record in the studio. Pretty much anything you want to record except drums. It's not quite big enough for a drum kit, although I have discovered if you put the drum kit in the corridor outside the toilet and you sit on the toilet, you can play the drums in the studio. That does seem to work. It's a little bit echoey, but I normally find a few egg boxes deals with that. So we could pretty much do anything, any kind of recording you want. If you ever need to record any music in the cafe, it's there, and we do parties and that sort of thing. I'll give you another update later on, tell you a bit more. I just thought I'd give you a little, précis.